Well, it's another warm welcome back, all my loyal YouTube subscribers, and thanks for tuning in once more to Classic Dirt Bike TV. Now in this next video we are going to continue with part 3 of the racing action from the 2017 Scottish Classic Grand National 2-day event held in the grounds of the superb Drumlanrig Castle in Thornhil in Dumfries. So next up we are going to take a look at the highlights from the remainder of the Saturday's race programme, and this next featured race is the pre-1975 team event, which is race 18 on the Saturday's programme. And so as we look at the riders lineup, I must say I just love that smell of two-stroke in the afternoon. So we have some very talented riders in this particular race. As we look along the line, we see number 1 John Fleming, number 8 Graham Farish, number 26 is James Thompson, number 180 is Archie Baird. We also have Andrew King there, and as our official race starter, Darren Hudson. Let's loose and away. Looks like everybody is safely through. Oh, it looks like Tommy Anderson has taken a slight fall into turn 1. But as we pick up our runners and riders in this pre-1975 team race from this Saturday, we're just waiting on our race leader coming through, which is still number 26, that's James Thompson on the Cecil Pearson Jap. Second is Scott Maxwell on the JME Engineering CCM. Number 111 is Harry Stitt from Northern Ireland. John Fleming going through. Andrew King on the Les Calderwood CCM. Number 55 is Keith Barnes. Number 125 is Ian Stainton. Number 180 also going through is Archie Baird. And also coming towards us, number 29. That's Derek Macaulay on that very quick bull tackle. So as we look to pick up our race leaders once again, it's number 26, it's still James Thompson, your race leader from number 58, that's Scott Maxwell. Third is still Harry Stitt. Fourth is John Fleming on the AMD sponsored machine. And so as we look to pick up our front runners in this class as they begin to cross the line, this is the second place rider, it's number 111, that's Harry Stitt on the Jap. Second is John Fleming on the CZ. Third is Andrew King on the Les Calderwood CCM. Andrew King nearly coming a cropper there, and he's lost his place now to number 55, that's Keith Barnes on that immaculate Clues Stroker. Number 180 there, that's Ayrshire man Archie Baird, who is riding as part of the AMD Motorsports racing team. Now just ahead of Archie there is number 8, that's Graham Farish. Number 100 there is the famous Ian Robertson, riding his lovely little Can-Am machine. And also going through there is number 122, that's Fergus Moody on the BSA. Now number 180 there, that's Archie Baird, who is part of the AMD Motorsports racing team. These guys all decked out in these yellow and black racing outfits. Number 293 going through there, that's Andrew King. Andrew, of course, is riding that 1974 580 CCM, which has been loaned to him by Leslie Calderwood, and it looks like Andrew's enjoying himself riding that big 4-stroke machine. But still a lot of racing to come at this 2-day Drumlanrig Castle event, so stay tuned for much more racing action from this full weekend of racing. Now once again we are looking at number 180, that's Archie Baird on his 380 CZ machine, a very nice and very quick bike. Ian Stainton going through there. Number 8 of course is Graham Farish, also part of the AMD Motorsports racing team. And so that is just a few of the riders in the pre-1975 team race. Okay, next up we're going to move on to the riders in the Twinshock over 50s team race. Another good collection of very quick riders in this particular class. Now it looks like the whole shot has been secured by Willie Burgess from Northern Ireland. Second looks like it's Mark Fulton. Paul Chiappa has made a fantastic start there in third position. So as they come towards us, it's number 2 Willie Burgess from Northern Ireland. Second 62 is Mark Fulton. Third is Paul Chiappa. Fourth is Chris Cannon. Number 180 going through there is actually Dale Burrows, who has flown from the USA to take part in this Drumlanrig Castle race event. So we're looking at our race leader in this Twinshock over 50s team race. It's still Willie Burgess from Northern Ireland on the 1981 490 Michael. Mark Fulton is still second. Paul Chiappa is still third. Chris Cannon is in fourth position as the rest of the riders make their way up the hill at this very picturesque Drumlanrig Castle venue. So there is your race leader, number 2 Willie Burgess from Northern Ireland. Second is Mark Fulton. So there's two very talented riders up front, so this could be a very good race for this over 50s team race. So it's Willie Burgess first, second Mark Fulton. I think Paul Chiappa is still in there in third position as the rest of the pack make their way towards the turn. Dale Burrows once again from the USA just going through there. Jim Colligan going through. Andy Mallock on that 83 Armstrong. And that looks like Mike van der Meer there, number 30 on the 250 81 Michael, but it's still Willie Burgess, your race leader, from number 62. Mark Fulton in second position. Mark has got his work cut out here trying to catch the flying Irishman on this very quick 490 Michael. So at the front it's German Michael versus Japanese 500 Honda. Number 18 going up the hill there, that's the man from Ochtermuchty in Fife. That's number 18, Jim Colligan, one of the very talented Scottish riders that we have here in Scotland. Jim just loves these 490 Michaels. Also just going through that, it looks like Dale Burrows once again from the United States just going through. And so as we look towards the far side of the track to pick up our race leader, it's still from Northern Ireland. It's Willie Burgess, number 2 on the 81 490 Michael. Second is Mark Fulton, and on that Stuart Bland built 500 Honda. And don't forget, this is not an individual race but a team race for the Twinshock over 50s class. But Willie Burgess is riding absolutely superbly in this fantastic race event. Paul Chiappa going up the hill owner and operator, of course, of Dunfermline Motorcycles, a very well respected motorcycle repair and sales shop. So as our race leaders begin to cross the line, it's still number 2 Willie Burgess, second is Mark Fulton, number 62. It looks like Mark just can't get on to terms with the speed of that number 2 bike of Willie Burgess. Willie Burgess, of course, is just beginning to start lapping the tail enders in this Twinshock over 50s team race. So it's still Willie Burgess, number 2, who is carving his way through the back markers. He's just passing Mike van der Meer there on the 250 Michael. But Willie Burgess has certainly got a grip of this Drumlanrig Castle track here on the Saturday's race programme. So as he crosses the line to complete yet another lap, it's number 2 Willie Burgess first. Second is still Mark Fulton, but Mark Fulton just doesn't seem to be making any ground on the Northern Irishman there. But Willie Burgess is riding absolutely superbly here. Now Paul Chiappa looks like he's just been passed by number 81 there. That's Chris Cannon on the Suzuki. So Paul Chiappa has lost a place, but nevertheless he's still riding very well for a rider that at this time was approaching 60 years old. But here is your race leader. It's still Willie Burgess from Northern Ireland, with Mark Fulton trying his damnedest to close that gap in second position. But remember, this is a team race, so it's more important that every team member crosses the line rather than being first to the post. But here's your race leader and winner. It's number 2 Willie Burgess from Northern Ireland. Second is going to be Mark Fulton, and I'm sure Mark will be the very first person to congratulate Willie on a superb ride in this Twinshock over 50s team race. Now next up we have the Twinshock under 50s team race, and this is definitely the last of the team races for the Saturday's race programme. So as the riders line up to take part in this Twinshock under 50s team race, I'm just waiting on our official starter, Darren Hudson, making sure all the riders' bikes are running and ready to go. So Darren takes up his position behind his little box, and as they leave the line, it's a very good field of riders once again for this Twinshock under 50s team race. And so as they all head up the hill to go into turn 3, we will pick up the runners and riders in this last and final race of the Saturday's race programme. So there is your race leader. It looks like it's number 147. That's Gavin Robertson on the Bill Brown sponsored 81 490 Micro bike. And so it's Gavin Robertson from Rosyth in Fife who is your race leader. I'm not exactly sure why that rider is in front of Gavin, because Gavin was at the front of the pack in race 1. But Gavin is definitely your race leader in this last race of the day here at Drumlanrig Castle for the Saturday's race programme. So it's number 147 as he crosses the line. It's Gavin Robertson on the 81 490 Michael. Second position will be David Houston on that Tony Craig 500 Honda. So two very fast riders, and as you can see, they've already left a huge gap to the rest of the runners and riders, and this is only at lap 1. Now it looks like number 181, that's Michael Smith, who is in third position on that 1983 490 Michael. So as it stands, it's Gavin Robertson in first position. Second is David Houston on the Tony Craig Honda, with third place Michael Smith on that 1983 490 Michael. And so as we look at some of the riders further down the pack, we are looking to pick up our race leader, who is coming towards us now. That's number 147, Gavin Robertson on the Bill Brown sponsored 81 490 Michael bike. Remember, this is Gavin's first ever venture on a Twinshock race bike, and he looks like he's quite enjoying himself for his first time out. Number 174 there is of course Alan Bott from Wigan. Alan doing superbly there. Just behind him going through there is Craig Smith, number 25. But here is your race leader, Gavin Robertson, who is of course an ex-British Evolution bike racing champion, and I'm sure Gavin's Evolution experience will hold him to good stead on this old Michael machine. But the racing conditions here at Drumlanrig Castle for the Saturday's race event are still pretty good, with still quite sticky, but no rain thankfully for this last and final race of the day here on Saturday. So as the last lap flag is posted, here is your race leader as he heads towards the checkered flag. It's number 147. It looks like it's going to be another win for that Rosyth rider from Fife, Gavin Robertson, number 147. So another good ride from Gavin there on the Bill Brown sponsored Michael. Okay, now we move on to the racing from the Sunday's race event, and this is the pre-1968 Unlimited class. So we're back to seeing these vintage bikes racing once again. Now this is not a team race, this is an individual race, so every position on the track counts towards your valuable points. And so it looks like everybody's good to go as our race starter. Darren Hudson takes position, drops the gate, and looks like everybody is safely away as they head into turn 1. Some very quick riders in these pre-68 Unlimited class racers. But it looks like everybody's safely negotiated turn 3 for this very first race of the Sunday's racing action. And so as we look to pick up our race leaders who head towards the far side of the track, it looks like it's still number 26. That's James Thompson from Northern Ireland on the Cecil Pearson Jap. Also coming towards us in second position looks like John Griffiths, who is also riding one of Cecil's Rickman Jap race bikes. Very quick machines these, of course. These engines were actually designed in the 1930s by John Alfred Prestwich, and of course these engines were originally designed as speedway engines, so they're well suited to this Drumlanrig Castle race event. So there is your race leader, number 26, James Thompson. Second is John Griffiths number 78, also riding that Rickman Jap. It looks like Liston Bell is in there in third position, but these Rickman Japs are very quick bikes in this pre-1968 Unlimited class. Just coming towards us is number 121, that's Alan Arnott on the BSA. We'll just try and pick up one or two of the riders as they come towards us. Coming towards us now, number 40, that's Colin Flockhart on the Shenny BSA. Number 70 there, that's Martin Stitt, who of course is the father of the famous classic bike builder, young Harry Stitt, who is also racing at this Drumlanrig weekend. So here is your race leader. It's still number 26, James Thompson on the Rickman Jap. Second is John Griffiths, also riding a Rickman Jap. Two very fast machines. Liston Bell taking a slight off-track excursion there to try and possibly gain some time on these flying Jap machines. Liston Bell, another very quick rider from Scotland. Number 44 there is Adrian Lappin from Northern Ireland, also riding one of Cecil's beautiful Rickman Jap machines. Now just coming towards us on the outside there on the white CR250 Honda, that's one of the Russian riders who have made the trip to Drumlanrig Castle. Now I'm not even going to attempt to try and name the rider because I'm just going to end up making a fool of myself, but nevertheless we're looking at second place man there. That's John Griffiths on the Rickman Jap. And so as the riders head up the hill on this first pre-1968 Unlimited class race of this Sunday, we're looking at number 111. That of course is Harry Stitt, who I mentioned earlier. Harry and both his father are racing here at Drumlanrig. Number 44 is Adrian Lappin. But this rider, young Harry Stitt, is a very talented engineer and not only a very good classic bike racer, but he builds some fantastic mountain bike and classic dirt bike frames. Now number 44 is Adrian Lappin. Number 9 coming towards us, that's Lewis Bell from Scotland, another very quick rider for the Scottish team. But how many classic dirt bike riders can say in the years to come that they've raced their old dirt bikes in the grounds of one of Scotland's most historic castles? But here is your race leader. It's still number 26. That's James Thompson on the Rickman Jap from Northern Ireland. Second place looks like it's still John Griffiths, also on a Rickman Jap. Third position is number 48. That's Craig McCoo on the Greaves Griffin. Never mind, Craig. Better luck next time, mate. But we're looking at number 78. That's John Griffiths in second position on the Cecil Pearson Rickman Jap. And number 441 coming towards us, that's Adrian Lappin, also one of the Irish team. Looks like Craig McCoo has yet to get his old Griffin on the go, but he's now mobile. And so we're looking at our race leader in this very first race of the Sunday's race programme. This is the 1968 Unlimited class, and there is your race leader, number 26, James Thompson from Northern Ireland, who has basically led this race from start to finish. Second is still John Griffiths there, number 78 on the Rickman Jap. Now we're still looking at John Griffiths there, number 78, just one of the many riders who race for the Cecil Pearson Rickman Jap team. Cecil used to be a bit of a racer in his younger days, but now just builds and maintains these Rickman Jap racers for these younger guys to take out and have a blast around the track. So that is number 441, that's Adrian Lappin. Number 111 is Harry Stitt, and just coming towards us there is number 40, that's Colin Flockhart on the Shenny BSA. Okay, next up we're moving on to the second race of the Sunday's race programme, and this is a pre-1975 Unlimited class, another big field of riders for this particular class. And as you can see, the weather is beginning to improve here at Drumlanrig Castle, but it looks like it's Jonathan Bethel who has a very good start on that Alan Clues CCM. So as they come towards us, it looks like it's number 44, Jonathan Bethel, in first position. Second is John Fleming. Third position coming through is Derek McCauley. Lewis Bell is just going through there. Some very quick riders in this particular class. Number 118 is Kenny Harper on the Bultaco. But everybody appears to be safely through the first few turns of lap 1. So as they come towards us, it's number 44, Jonathan Bethel. Second, John Fleming, number 1. It looks like Derek McCauley is in third on the Bultaco, as the rest of the chasing pack make their way up the hill to the far side of the track. Ian Robertson just going through there on that little Can-Am bike. But conditions here at Drumlanrig Castle for this Sunday is certainly a lot brighter and drier than it was for the Saturday's race programme. So we're picking up our race leaders once again. It looks like it's Lewis Bell who is your race leader. Lewis also riding one of those Alan Clues CCM bikes, as we watch the rest of the riders make their way up the hill to turn 3. And so as our race leader comes round to cross the line for yet another lap, it's number 9, that's Lewis Bell on the CCM, your race leader. Second is still Jonathan Bethel, number 44. Third is still John Fleming on the CZ. Fourth is Derek McCauley on the 250 Bultaco Persang. Number 293 there, that's Andrew King on the Leslie Calderwood sponsored CCM bike. But some very quick riders in this pre-1975 Unlimited class. Now just coming towards us, number 22 there, that's Darryl Wiley on the 250 Honda. And just coming towards us, number 32, that's Andy Dykes, who used to live in Scotland but now lives in Australia and flew over specifically for this Drumlanrig event. And so we're looking at our second and third placed position riders. That's 44, that's Jonathan Bethel, who leads John Fleming. And we're just waiting on our race leader coming through, which should be number 9, Lewis Bell on the CCM. Lewis riding superbly in this race. 44, Jonathan Bethel second. John Fleming there, number 1 on the CZ in third position. And as you can see, the riders' speed is beginning to build as the track dries here at Drumlanrig on the Sunday's race programme. Number 3 coming through, that's Tommy Anderson riding his Husqvarna. Number 180, that's Archie Baird. 100 is Ian Robertson on the Can-Am, and Darryl Wiley going through once again. Number 118 here, that's Kenny Harper on one of his lovely 360 bull tackles. Number 15 is Gary Smith. And once again we have Andy Dykes on the KTM, number 32. But as we look to the wooded section, it's still number 9, Lewis Bell, your race leader. Second, Jonathan Bethel on the 44 numbered CCM bike. Third is still John Fleming on the CZ, as we watch the riders use the berm to get that speed through the turn. So once again we look to see our race leader. It's still Lewis Bell in first position. Second is still Jonathan Bethel. Third is still John Fleming on the CZ machine. Jonathan, of course, one of the sons of the late great CCM man, John Bethel, who absolutely loved CCM bikes and everything that was connected with them. Number 180 here is Ayrshire rider, that's Archie Baird, who looks like he's just been passed by number 100, that's Ian Robertson on his Can-Am. Darryl Wiley going through again, number 22. Number 55 is Keith Barnes on that Alan Clues Stroker machine. Remember, these Clues Strokers were the very first bikes that Alan Clues ever put together, and that was before he even registered the name CCM competition machines. And so as the laps count down, we're looking at Lewis Bell coming towards us, number 9, who's just about to pass at number 32. That's Andy Dykes on that very nice KTM bike. So it was a win for Lewis Bell in first place. Second was John Fleming. Coming through there is number 29. And number 293 is Andrew King on that CCM. So that was the second race of the day on the Sunday, the pre-75 Unlimited class. Okay, next up we're on to the Twinshock over 60s Chancers race, and just in front of our picture there you can see the famous number 7 CCM bike of the legend Jimmy Aird. So look out for Jimmy doing really well on that CCM in this race. Bill Brown there, number 53, Mr. Wealth Sport himself. Number 96 there is Alistair Brown on his 250 Husqvarna. Number 19 is Gordon Forbes from Helensburgh in Argyllshire in Scotland. So a very good lineup of riders for this Twinshock over 60s Chancers race. So we're just waiting on our official race starter, Darren Hudson, getting into position to let these riders loose for race 3 of the Sunday, so we're good to go. And as the gate drops, it's a very good start by almost all the riders, as they seem to have made the first turn safely. And so as the sun begins to shine here in Drumlanrig Castle, it looks like it's been a good start by number 7 Jimmy Aird on his favourite CCM race bike, although Jimmy's now been passed by one of the Michaels. Gordon Forbes is in there in third position. Bill Brown doing well and sitting in about 5th position as they make the turn, but another good gaggle of riders in this Twinshock over 60s class race. So we look towards the wooded section to see who our actual race leader is. It was Jimmy Aird on lap 1, but it's now number 21. That's Sammy Doble from Yeovil on that 81.490 Michael. Second is Jimmy Aird on the CCM. Third is Gordon Forbes. Fourth is number 28. That's Stuart Miller. Just pick up a few more of the riders. Bill Brown coming through there, number 53. Number 71 is David Robb. As you can see, some quite quick riders here for this Twinshock over 60s class race. And there is a Russian friend whose name I am not at liberty to try and pronounce. But you can see there's a decent crowd turned up for this second day of racing here at Drumlanrig Castle, and thankfully the weather is beginning to improve now. So as we look for a race leader coming through once again, it should be still number 21, it's Sammy Doble. Second is still Jimmy Aird on the CCM. Third is Stuart Miller, number 28. Gordon Forbes, number 19, is in 4th position, as the rest of the chasing pack make their way through. A little coming together between what looks like Gary White there in that white top with the white CR250 Honda. Gary, of course, from Ayrshire in Scotland, so Gary's not had too far to travel to this Drumlanrig event. But the Scott Leathers owner, Jimmy Aird, looks like he's doing really well on his old CCM there. Still currently in 2nd position. Sammy Doble quite a bit down the track now. Stuart Miller is in 3rd position, so Jimmy Aird is doing really well on his old CCM Alan Clues race bike. Now Jimmy, of course, doesn't do too much racing these days due to his running his Scott Leathers business, but likes to bring his old CCM out to these big Twinshock and classic events. So there is your race leader. It's still number 21, Sammy Doble on the 81.490, who is your race leader. Sammy looks like he's got a decent lead on Jimmy Aird at the moment, so looking comfortable for a possible win in this Twinshock over 60s Chancellor's race. Number 7, Jimmy Aird there with that very unique gold CCM fuel tank, which is a trademark on Jimmy's number 7 race bike. And this looks like a good scrap between Gary White's David Robb, number 171, and this man here, number 193, that's Mitch Hughes. A good scrap between these 3 riders developing. And although these 3 guys are not running at the front of the pack, nevertheless they're still having loads of fun and enjoying their day out. So here is your race leader. It's still number 21, Sammy Doble, as he starts his last and final lap of this Twinshock over 60s Chancers race. 2nd position now is Stuart Miller on the Michael. 3rd is Jimmy Aird on the CCM. Jimmy riding absolutely superbly, and of course Jimmy in his more maturing years now, and he's up against these younger lads on these 81.490 Michaels, but Jimmy is giving a very good account of himself in this over 60s Chancers race. Some of the other riders coming through, that's 171 is David Robb once again on his Michael. Mitch Hughes going through again. Gary White there on the CR250 Honda. Number 27 is Mike Doby, another good Scottish rider, and Mike is riding his CR250 Honda Red Rocket. Okay, moving right along, we are on to the third race of the Sunday. This is the Twinshock over 50s class race. These are the big boys of the Twinshock racing, with the likes of Mark Fulton, Alan Bott. We have Dale Burrows in there from the USA. Number 2 is Willie Burgess, 18 Jim Colligan. But it looks like another good lineup of riders as Darren Hudson, our race starter, takes up position. And as the gate drops, they leave the line. It's a cracking start again from Mark Fulton. It looks like Willie Burgess is in there again in second position, but a few riders taking a bit of a off-track excursion and going slightly wide. Thank God that these tracks are marked out by tapes rather than ropes, or it could have had more serious consequences. But as we look to the far side of the track to watch this gaggle of Twinshock over 50s riders start their first lap, looks like everybody is safely away, so it's still Mark Fulton, number 62, your race leader, being hounded already by Irishman number 2 Willie Burgess. Third place in the background there looks to me like it's Pete Mathia. So we have some very prestigious Twinshock racers in this particular race, with the likes of Mark Fulton, Willie Burgess and Pete Mathia in places first, second and third. And so as they cross the line to complete lap 1, it's number 62 Mark Fulton, second is number 2 Willie Burgess, third is Pete Mathia. Now in fourth position is that rider that's not registered in the race programme, so I do apologise for not being able to name that particular rider. Number 233 going through is Graham Smith on the Suzuki, Chris Cannon going through. Number 180 there, that's Dale Burrows, as I mentioned, from the USA. But we are currently looking at our second place position rider. That's number 2 Willie Burgess from Northern Ireland. Now Willie, of course, doesn't always just race in Ireland. He does a lot of his Twinshock racing on the UK mainland. But we are looking at Mark Rocky Fulton as he comes through the wooded section of the track to complete yet another lap. So here is your number 1 race rider, number 62 Mark Fulton in first position. Second is still Willie Burgess. Third is Pete Mathia, riding that German 490 Michael. Paul Chiappa having a good scrap there as he crosses the finish line. 233 is Graham Smith on the RM 400 Suzuki. Chris Cannon, number 181 on the RM 400 Suzuki also. But some very quick riders in this Twinshock over 50s class race. Now, as you can see, we are now blessed with some nice summer sunshine here at Drumlanrig Castle, and there is your race leader, number 62 Mark Fulton, and you can see that the speeds are now beginning to build as the track dries. Willie Burgess going through in second position, Pete Mathia also going really well in this race, Paul Chiappa going through on the Maiko. Number 62, I'm not entirely sure who that particular rider is, but conditions certainly improving by the minute here at Drumlanrig Castle. So there is your race leader, 62 Mark Fulton. Second should still be Willie Burgess from Northern Ireland as they make their way up the hill. Third is still Pete Mathia, and I must say that Pete appears to be getting quite close to Willie Burgess, so maybe a good race developing in the latter stages of this Twinshock over 50s class race. Just coming towards us is Dale Burrows from the USA, who flew over specifically to take part in this event. And number 39 there, that's Robert Smith. Now, as you can see, this particular part of the track is becoming more increasingly bumpy as the day wears on. It was very wet and sticky on the Saturday, but you can see that these bikes' modern suspension is coping very well with the bumpy conditions at this Drumlanrig Castle racetrack. So we're back to our race leader. Coming towards us is number 62, Mark Fulton, who has almost had a complete sweep of wins here this weekend, although he did have that slight spill. I think it was in race 2 in the over 50s race when he slid off his bike at the start and finish line. Number 2 there in second position is Willie Burgess, riding very well in these increasingly bumpy conditions. Number 43, Andy Malak, looks like he's got a problem with his 83 500 Armstrong. Yeah, just swear at Andy, that usually works. And so we're looking at our race leader as he comes round to take the checkered flag in this Twinshock over 50s class race. It's going to be another win for Mark Fulton, number 62, as he makes his way through the wooded section to come through to take the checkered flag. Second looks like it will still be Willie Burgess, just coming into your picture now, number 2. So another good win for Mark Fulton in first, with Willie Burgess in second. Okay, next up it's race 5. This is a Twinshock under 50s class. The relatively young pups of Twinshock racing. Another good selection of riders for this class. Almost a full gate of riders here. I think there will be approximately about 25 riders in this particular Twinshock under 50s class race. So we're just waiting on our race starter once again, Darren Hudson, getting into position. So it's heads down, elbows up, and we are off as the riders make their way in to turn 1. So we're just looking to the far side of the track to pick up race leaders. At this moment in time, I can't really identify that front runner. It looks like David Houston is in there in third position. But as you can see, a nice group of Twinshock under 50s riders in this race 5. Now, the previous Twinshock under 50s class races were won by Gavin Robertson, but it looks like there's no sign of Gavin in the front runners of this particular race. He's maybe had a bad start, but certainly no sign of Gavin Robertson in the front runners of this Twinshock under 50s class race. Number 412 going through there, that's Dominic Bratt on the big XR 500 Honda bike. Quite a popular choice of engine for this kind of Twinshock racing. So coming towards us is number 147, that's Gavin Robertson. Now Gavin could possibly be in the lead of this race, it's just maybe that I missed him at the very start, but looks like Gavin is up to speed and running once again at the front. Now just making the turn is number 156, that's David Bateman on the 500 Honda. Craig Smith going through there, number 25. Number 158, that's Ian Clark on the Myco only S1 490. Number 818 is Lewis Hart with one of his nice Suzuki 250s. But here is your race leader. As far as I'm aware, it's number 147, Gavin Robertson on the Bill Brown sponsored 81 Myco. Number 350 there, that's Ryan Glendinning from Penrith in Cumbria on his Myco. One of the top Cumbrian Twinshock racers is Ryan. But the track is drying almost each and every race here at Drumlanrig, so we should see some very quick races in the last remaining races for this Sunday race programme. So there is your race leader, 147, Gavin Robertson from the Scythe in Fife. Looks like Gavin has already a big substantial lead between himself and the second place rider. Now number 350, Ryan Glendinning, could quite possibly be your second placed rider, but please don't quote me on that particular fact. But Ryan is riding perfectly here in the drying conditions at Drumlanrig Castle. Number 412 on the white machine, that's Dominic Bratt from Crewe, riding that 4-stroke Honda 500. Dominic riding quite well on that big bike and has just been passed by our race leader, Gavin Robertson. Now just coming towards us, number 184, that's Benjamin Hughes from Nantwich. Just making the turn there. Ian Clark once again going through. We're looking at number 25 there, that's Craig Smith from Dunfermline in Scotland. Craig, of course, one of the top Twinshock racers in Scotland, and has some titanic battles with himself and Paul Chiappa when they're racing at Scottish Twinshock events. But as we look at our race leader as he comes round to complete his last and final lap, it's going to be another win for Rosyth man, Gavin Robertson, a very accomplished rider. Of course, Gavin, an ex-British Evolution champion, so it's a win for Gavin Robertson, number 147. Okay, this is the last and final race for this part 3 video from Drumlanrig Castle. This is a pre-1968 Unlimited class once again with the old classic bikes, but don't forget there are still 2 more videos still to come from this 2017 Drumlanrig Castle race event. So as the riders leave the line, it looks like a good start by John Griffiths on the Jap. Second looks like James Thompson, also on one of those Cecil Pearson Japs, but this looks like it could be a good race between these 2 Irishmen. So it's John Griffiths, your race lead, and in fact James Thompson has just passed John Griffiths, so John Griffiths is in second, Peter Hollandhead is in third, Adrian Lappin is fourth, Harry Stitt is fifth. Also coming through, Colin Flockhart, number 40, Martin Stitt going through. Number 48 is Craig McCoo, and number 246 is Ian Ward on the Villiers 250. But it's the battle of the Irishmen at the front. It's still number 26 James Thompson, second is number 78 John Griffiths, third is still Peter Hollinshead on the SRM BSA. Adrian Lappin is fourth, Harry Stitt is fifth, as the riders make their way to the top side of the racetrack. So there is still plenty racing to come from this 2-day event here at Drumlanrig in the remaining 2 videos. So we're looking at number 26 James Thompson, and this is race 6 of the Sunday's race programme, and this is the pre-1968 Unlimited class. So we're watching James Thompson on that flying John Alfred Prestwich engined machine. Second should be John Griffiths, also from Northern Ireland, number 78. Third position should be Adrian Lappin, who is just coming into shot now. Fourth is still Peter Hollinshead on the SRM BSA. Fifth is Harry Stitt on the BSA. In sixth position it looks like Pierre Dihan from France. That is Steve Dent, number 585, going through on the Faber BSA. But this rider hasn't put a foot wrong all weekend and is riding absolutely superbly. This is James Thompson from Northern Ireland. I think James has won almost every race that he's competed on thus far this weekend, so as you can see, a very talented young rider. Now that is looks like Liston Bell going through, but Liston is just actually rejoining the race, so it's still James Thompson who is beginning to open up a substantial lead on second place man John Griffiths. As we look at number 70, that's Martin Stitt, of course also from Northern Ireland, riding his 440 BSA. But these Rickman Jap bikes of course run on a total loss oil lubrication system, whereby that you fill the front frame down tube with engine oil, and the little external pump pumps the oil around the engine and then back onto the track. So once these bikes run out of oil, you're in deep trouble. But here is your your third place rider. It's still Adrian Lappin, number 441, also riding one of those Cecil Pearson methanol burning Jap bikes. So we're looking at number 78, that's John Griffiths on his last and final lap. Now there doesn't seem to be any sign of James Thompson, who was running at the front of this race, so I don't know if James has had some kind of mechanical issue, but this could be a win for John Griffiths on this last and final lap. So as they come round to start their last lap, that's Liston Bell, who is well down the pecking order in this particular race. Just Craig McCoo coming through, so it looks like it could be an eventual win for John Griffiths as he starts his last and final lap. But I do hope you've enjoyed all the racing footage from this Drumlanrig Castle in this part 3 video, and look out for more of the same coming up in part 4.